Sunshine State's only true sports talk radio show where we focus on the teams and the topics that are important to you, the sports fan in Florida. We are Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz. I'm Bianchi, Mike Bianchi, sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. He is Kravitz, Brandon Kravitz, the hardest working man in sports media. That man right over there is the prodigy of production, prime time Jaden Grimes, making us sound so beautiful. Pressing those buttons. We want to hear from you throughout the course of the show. You can enter the Rage Cage, aka that talkback microphone at the bottom of the iHeartRadio app. You can also text us on the Mills Air text line 50857. We want to hear from you in Jacksonville, Tallahassee, obviously right here in our main base in Orlando. And if you're listening on the World Wide Web, text us, talk back. We want to hear from you, Krabby Krabs. We have a big show today, don't we?
We have a huge show planned today. We have O.J. McDuffie, the legend, joining the show in about 30 minutes to chat about the Dolphins season that was. And
we have a new NBA guest as well.
That's right. My good friend Nick Whalen from rotowire.com. Him and I did a lot of work together on VSiN over the summer. He's fantastic. He is a bigger hoop head than I am, and he'll be joining us at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Your Buddy Pittman, will be joining us in the 5 o'clock hour to talk about the president that resigned at the top of the food chain for NASCAR.
Is that what he did? He resigned? I thought he got fired.
The news release says that Steve Phelps resigned. Okay? I'm just reading off the headline here. But that's the same guy that called somebody else a redneck. So
a redneck who deserves to be taken out to the woodshed and flogged.
Yeah, sometimes you get fired. Sometimes you say, all right, guys, I will see myself out. Thank you very much. But last night, Mike, I know we're about to get to it. I tried to tell you, don't go acting like the Wizards are some auto victory.
No, I tried to tell you, all right? I tried to tell you. We'll get to it. Let's get to it right now with some highlights and headlines. I don't want to hear how good the Washington Wizards have been playing. I don't want to hear how the Magic substitutes made this massive comeback last night after falling behind by 26 points to the Wizards. The fact is the Magic fell behind by 26 points to the Washington Wizards, ended up losing 120 to 112. Yes, the young reserves, Jett Howard, Jace Richardson, Noah Penda, they played well when they were inserted into the game. But the fact that they were in the game down the stretch should tell you how bad the Magic starters were last night. Magic coach Jamal Mosley made the decision to keep the starters on the bench even when the Magic pulled within 2 at crunch time. Here's some highlights and lowlights in Coach Mo's talking about keeping the reserves in the game at crunch time.
Now McCollum on the run out, leaves for Champagny, and he will throw it down. And Washington is dog walking the Magic in Washington, D.C. He's got it again, throws up a floater, but Isaac's there for the putback as it fell off. J.I. is dominating both ends of the floor right now. In Orlando down 10, it was 26 not long ago, and now we got an offensive foul. Jett throws it inside for Isaac. He flips it up and in and one. Are you kidding me? What a run from this group on the floor, and Jonathan Isaac will head to the free throw line.
But they deserve to be in the game because they're the ones that got out that far back to get us to that point. And that group deserved to be on the floor. They played their tails off. They had energy. They had spirit. They had fight. And that's what you ask these guys to do every time they touch the floor, and that's what they did.
That's Coach Mo's talking about keeping the reserves in the game. You want my translation of what he just said? It's the same thing I've been saying for about 2 weeks now. The Magic starters are fat and happy. Fat and happy. That's what Coach Mosley was saying. They didn't deserve to be in the game because why? They're fat and happy. That's my translation.
Okay, I mean, I can't argue with any analysis that you want to give on the Magic starters when they didn't even play a minute in the fourth quarter against the Washington Wizards. I find myself kind of caught in the middle here because I understand what Jamal Mosley is saying. I respect his opinion on the matter. Legitimately, this is not just Magic broadcaster guy talking. This is an NBA coach that is trying to lead men and make a point. I think it is a difficult decision to make to leave multimillionaires who are stars on the bench in the fourth quarter of a game that they can absolutely win. I think that it is akin to putting your kid in timeout. And even if they are acting right in timeout, saying you're there for a reason and you got 20 more minutes, kiddo.
Think about it.
Think about what you've done. So there is some coaching, parenting that goes on here. However, the guys that brought you back clearly they exhausted all of the gas that was in the tank. It takes a lot of energy and effort to come back when you're down by 26, and they did it. They were down by 2 points. Timeout Washington. There's your opportunity to take some fresh legs and say, all right, guys,
I like what he did.
Timeout's over. Go win the game for us.
I like what he did. Send the message. This is for down the road. This is one game against the pathetic Wizards. Leaving them on the bench will be more important down the road than if they'd have come back and beaten the Wizards. I liked what he did. Thank you.
Can't you still send the message of you guys were sad out there tonight, not good enough, not up to our standard.
No,
but
you know
also,
what they need to feel?
I need fresh legs at the end of this game because the backups did what you couldn't. And you can even say it to them. Say it to their face. You guys don't deserve this win. Game ball goes to Jace Richardson. Thank you very much.
No. The Magic starters need to feel like the Baltimore Ravens kicker felt after they lost the game. That's how the Magic starters need to feel today. All right?
I think you can win the game and still feel that way, and that's where I tend to lean on the side of just do what you have to do to get a win. It's not like the Magic are. This isn't the Oklahoma City Thunder just lost to the Charlotte Hornets, but the Thunder have built up enough equity. They're the defending champions. They're the best team in the NBA this year. They had an off night against a bad team. The Magic have been a middle-of-the-road team for a month. They need wins more than they need statements and messages from their coach. I disagree with the decision. I understand why it was made. I respect it, but I disagree with it.
Long season to go, not overreacting to one little loss, but I think...
this is not overreacting to a loss, Mike. They haven't won back-to-back games in a month.
I'm just saying, sending a message right now by leaving those reserves in the game and leaving the starters on the bench will be more important when crunch time actually comes in the season than winning this one little game would matter.
Well, not winning that one little game puts a lot of pressure on this little game because if you lose back-to-back games to the Wizards and the Nets while your team is slumping for 30 days, that is a problem. That may be addressed. And I don't think it's best for this organization to make rash decisions, and maybe they won't. But this is how sports are run in this country. This is not inside information. This is how every sports organization is run. When you have expectations and to be at the top of the heap, and you're in the middle to the bottom, and then losing to the bottom dwellers on back-to-back nights, it's a really good way for wholesale changes to be made before we get to Valentine's Day.
Wow. Okay. All right. Big transfer portal news. University of Florida star tailback Jaden Baugh entered the transfer portal, but has re-signed with the Gators, who apparently won a bidding war against Texas to keep Baugh. All right. We all know Jaden Baugh, beast of a runner. Over 1,000 yards this season, ran for 266 yards on 38 carries in the season finale against Florida State. Obviously, he was in demand. Texas apparently made him a $1.5 million offer, according to published reports. He signed with the Gators, according to Edgar Thompson's story, for just a smidge less, about 1.3 to $1.4 million, whatever. He got a lot of money by entering the transfer portal. Can't blame the guy. He probably made an extra $750,000 this year by entering the portal, Kravitz, and starting the bidding war. More power to Jaden Ball. I would have done the same thing.
You know what they say, Mike? Value is only what somebody is willing to pay for either you or whatever service that you are offering. And clearly he created value for himself when there's this perception that, we might lose him. Now we got to pony up. And he becomes, this is the first $1 million running back in college football, I believe, at least reportedly.
Actually, I think Florida State's defense created value for him. 266 yards in the season finale.
Maybe next year when he plays them, he'll throw them a tip at the end of the game. Hey, thanks so much for the pocket change. Keep the change, pal.
Those are your highlights and your headlines.
I got some hot takes on the Jaden Ball thing coming up later in the show, but we're going to keep that one tucked in our back pocket. Up next, our daily source of motivation and inspiration. Plus, we've got a pair of text questions that could get awfully gassy around here in the studio. Text in 50857. You can rage cage us on any of your favorite topics today on the iHeartRadio Talkback line. We are back with more great content in a moment.
Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz. We'll be right back after this.
The Orlando Valkyries, our Valks, the MLV champs, they're back in action for the new year. And if you haven't gone to a match yet, I can't encourage it enough as we venture into a new season. Volleyball has quickly become my son's favorite sport to watch live. I have the Valkyries to thank for creating lifelong family memories with more to come this season. The Valkyries are a premier professional volleyball franchise competing in Major League Volleyball, one of the league's most dynamic and fast-rising teams, and the defending champs. Experience the competition, the innovative in-game presentation, and a deep connection to the Orlando community. Head coach Amy Pauley has this team rolling right now, and this season is a great time to hop on board. The Valkyries are redefining what it means to be a professional sports organization in this town. For ticket and team info, head to provolleyball.com or head to ticketmaster.com and search the Orlando Valkyries, and I'll see you at the next match.
Delays on I-4 eastbound just after 1792. There's an accident blocking the shoulder. You have a slow ride on I-4 westbound between the beach line and 535, and the right lane is blocked due to a crash. State Route 46 eastbound at I-4. See traffic troubles? Call the Valvoline Instant Oil Change traffic tip line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Katie Wilkins.
This report is sponsored by Aleve. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 407-204-0300. That's 407-204-0300.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Be sure to tune in the day after the game for the Tools Ace Hardware Assist of the Night, brought to you by me, Brandon Kravitz. And if you're gearing up for game day, Tools Ace is your MVP for grilling greatness. From Big Green Egg to Traeger, they've got everything you need to fire up the flavor with 14 Central Florida locations, including their brand new store in downtown Windermere. Tools Ace is your neighborhood home maintenance expert. The helpful place every night and your best Just stop before the game. Visit toolsacehardware.com.
Here's something most of us don't want to think about, but probably should. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton here for our friend Mike Lester and the team at Talon Wealth Management.
That thing we don't want to talk about is a will. If you don't have one, Mike and his team would like to help you out. They'll start you off with a comprehensive financial plan.
If you are 55 or over and have saved at least $250,000 for retirement, the Talon Comprehensive Financial Plan is complimentary. And when that plan's in hand, you will also receive the gift of a will and trust courtesy of Talon Wealth.
The folks at Talon Wealth are not attorneys, but they work with a group of attorneys who'll provide a will and trust at no charge to you. Reach out at 813-755-5000. 813-755-5000. One more time, that's 813-755-5000. And be sure and tell them that Clay and Buck sent you.
Advisory services offered through Talon Private Wealth, LLC, a SEC-registered investment advisor. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or financial advice.
If you've been in a big truck accident, you need a lawyer that specializes in big trucks. A lawyer who knows all the federal traffic rules that can affect your case.
And who can navigate the complex web of laws dealing with the trucking company, the leasing company, the shipper, and all the other details that can complicate your case.
At Farah and Farah, we've seen it all, and we're ready to go the long haul to fight for you.
Orlando. I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
We are Orlando's sports leader, broadcasting live from the FM 96.9 The Game studio. Brought to you by the Nickley Group, Orlando's home team. Doing real estate differently. TheNickleyGroup.com.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Do you have AC needs? Turn to the experts at Carrier. Go to millsair.com.
Sunday, UCF Hoops is on the game as they square off with rival Cincinnati. With coverage beginning at 4:30. Tip time is 5 p.m. Catch every minute right here on your exclusive home of UCF Sports. FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, and streaming on the absolutely free iHeartRadio app. Now back to Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz.
Welcome back to the show. Happy hump day to all. Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz and our esteemed producer, the prodigy of production, Jaden Grimes, back at it live in Jacksonville, Tallahassee, and right here in Orlando, Florida on FM 96.9 The Game. Jaden, before I move on to the coach quote and all of that, also shout out to the game heads that are out there. New branding, our loyal legion. You can become a game head on Facebook. It's game-heads. Wherever you, well, I was going to say wherever you get your podcast. I'm just like auto-programmed to say that. It was not at all relevant to this particular situation. But
give us a call, 407-916-8255. We don't take calls.
Yeah, I'd have to pluck the cobwebs from the phone lines in order to get that thing working again. How nervous are you for tomorrow? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm
I
great.
feel like we should do like a mental health check. It was the Miami Hurricanes. Shane's a big Canes fan, if you guys haven't picked that up yet. And they've the biggest game they've had since you were
Ever, my whole life.
Just a twinkle in your dad's eye.
Yeah, this is the biggest college football game for me of my whole lifetime. I've never seen a good Miami Hurricanes team other than last year, so I'm very excited for this. I honestly haven't slept much. I'll be up late watching highlights of Carson Beck from Ohio State and stuff like that.
You've seen some decent teams. You've seen some 10-win teams.
Yeah, we were ranked.
Mark Richt had a couple of good teams.
He were ranked 2 and then lost to Pitt and everything fell. I haven't seen a good, full, complete Miami season ever.
They could win the championship. They're right there. They're on the doorstep. Knock it down.
Win the championship after not deserving to be in the playoff. Yeah, absolutely.
We beat Notre Dame, all right?
Mike doesn't even believe that. He doesn't even believe that.
I think they can win the championship.
Well, of course, that any 4 of these can. Is there anybody that's still left that can't win the championship?
No.
It's time for our daily coach quote.
This is Jamal Mosley, head coach of the Orlando Magic, and this is your daily coach quote of the day.
Our daily source of
Daily
inspiration.
coach quote of the day. Play defense.
Don't get beat by the Wizards. Next. Today's is about controlling the weather. And isn't it ironic that this is the message, I kid you not, Mike, the email that I got from the Daily Coach newsletter today was about controlling the forecast around you. And this was the day after Mia O'Brien called Liam Cohen the thermostat, not the thermometer. And we had this whole conversation about it, about differentiating between the thermostat and the thermometer yesterday on the show. And then the Daily Coach newsletter was about weather. So here is the quote. Every single day, we're bringing the weather. You don't need to be perfect, just be human. You don't need to be upbeat all the time. Just do what you need to do and be intentional. Ask yourself, what forecast are you bringing people when you walk in the door? That is the Daily Coach quote. Actually, that was the explanation. The quote is this.
I was going to say, that's a long quote.
Yeah, that was the, I over copy and pasted on my notes sheet here. Leadership isn't always what we say. It's the way we make people feel in the moment we arrive. The forecast always starts with us. That was the quote. That's the quote.
No, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Lot
if you're
of-
going to be if you're going to be a leader, especially in today's world, you have to have people believe in you. You can't lead by fear anymore in leadership positions.
I don't
in
think
today's
so.
Not in today's workplace. No.
It's a tough balance to strike because I think you have to be respected, you have to be taken seriously, but you also have to be one of the guys, one of the girls, and make people feel comfortable and appreciated and all of these things that were not valued in the past but are very much valued in today's workplace. And I think the biggest takeaway from me about what forecast are you bringing people around you when you walk in the door is when I hear that, I think about the word consistency. And there's nothing that drives me more insane with anybody that's in my life, people that I've worked with, than inconsistency. I would
agree.
rather you be awful every day that I work with you than be awful one day, great the next, middle of the road on Wednesday, back to awful. I just want to know when I turn the corner, and I mean this at work, in my relationships, any individual that I come in contact with any regularity. I just want to know what I'm getting out of you when I turn the corner. It drives me crazy when people are inconsistent.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know what else? What else drives me crazy is, and I've had many bosses in the past, bosses who are always sort of negative. You know, if you know, and believe me, I've been in the newspaper business as it's, you know, gone steadily downhill over the last, 15, 20 years, and there's been a lot of negativity in the newspaper business. But I think if you're going to be a leader in the business, you have to be. You're talking about the weather. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you navigate the weather.
Yeah,
right.
It reminded me of an instance when you're one of the people that I think set the foundation for me to blow a little smoke up your rear end here, as far as how to
I like that.
how to
Feels
approach
good.
your job when life around you is difficult. I remember you called me and told me many, many years ago that you were in the midst of going through a divorce. Now, obviously, you didn't just decide day one that you're going to go through that, and then your next step was to call me. So clearly, this was something that had been going on for a while, and you were the same person at work every single day with this major life-changing event that is extremely negative that's going on, at least negative for the most part, that it's going on behind the scenes to bring the same level of energy, passion, work ethic, and all of that kind of stuff to work, I think is admirable. And I think more people should try and do that, that no matter what's going on, when you walk in the door, you just be the same person every day. It's not up to other people to weather your problems.
Right.
So today,
good quote today, Krabs.
Thank you. Real quick, we're getting a round of applause from our producer here. Our text question today doesn't have anything to do with that. Today, it is National Pass Gas Day. So we're going to ask you, what is the worst place to pass gas, or perhaps the worst place that you have ever you couldn't hold it anymore, or you thought no one was there? And then, isn't it amazing? I find that flatulence is like a magnet for other human beings. That you will be in a room. I could be in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and if I let it go, somebody will come around the corner and go, "Hey, did you call me?" I go, "No, Glenn, would you back up?" Okay. Give yourself some space. Save yourself, Glenn.
I'm gonna share later my go-to move when it comes to passing gas.
I don't even know if I want to hear this, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's a tease or a reason to go find another radio show. Up next, OJ McDuffie puts a wrap on the Dolphins season. What does he think about a possible bird flying down from the Northeast for the winter? The legend joins us next.
Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz will be back right after this.
Fans know when a player is chasing stats instead of wins. Unfortunately, some AC companies operate the same way. Their technicians are selling, not fixing. That's not how Ziegler Air Conditioning does business. In Florida, when your AC stops working, you need solutions, not pressure. The heat is intense. The house warms up fast. Emotions run high. That's why trust matters so much. That's why I use Ziegler Air Conditioning. They've been cooling Central Florida for 40 years by doing things differently. Their technicians are not paid commissions. They're paid well to do quality work and give honest answers. They installed my system, they maintain my system regularly, and they fix what needs fixing without pushing unnecessary replacements. That honesty builds confidence and long-term relationships. Believe me, you don't last 4 decades in this business by tricking customers. You last by treating people right and standing behind your work and your product. Give them a call. 407-245-8765. That's 407-245-8765. Ziegler Air Conditioning. Don't ever lose your cool.
Prediction markets have absolutely flooded the betting landscape, but no one's doing it better and more above board than Better Edge. The question that you have to ask yourself if you're interested in taking sports betting to that next level is this: do I want whatever lines and odds are offered to me in the first place I look, or do I want the best of the number? If you answered the second one, you're off to a good start. If you head to betteredge.com or download the app, then you're halfway home to becoming a winning sports bettor. Greg and James run a tight ship. They are disruptors to the industry, and they're game heads just like you. So come and bet with me and some of the sharpest sharps around over on Better Edge. Test your knowledge and make a profit off of all that wealth of information you have trapped inside of your head. Better Edge lets you put the power back in your hands as a sports fan. Sign up for the first time. You'll get $20 on the house. Just use the promo code BeatBrandon at sign up. That's promo code BeatBrandon at betteredge.com or on the Better Edge app. Orlando Magic basketball lives here on 96.9 The Game, and your game day Magic coverage is powered by IBEW Local 606. Proud to serve electrical workers across Central Florida, providing its members with a supportive community, training, valuable benefits, and advancement opportunities. IBEW Local 606 has been powering and serving Central Florida for over 75 years, and they are the dream team for electrical workers across this area. For more info, head to IBEWLocal606.org and go Magic.
The one and only Monster Jam. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Sparkle Smash, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Save up to $10 on tickets with a savings coupon from participating Ford dealerships. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. See savings coupon for details. Coming to Camping World Stadium this Saturday.
Okay, team, it's the Bulldog Mike Bianchi, and here's the game plan. Head to Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont, your truck headquarters for 50 years. Right now, their Red Tag event brings 0% APR for 36 months on a new Silverado, plus over $13,000 in savings. And if you're looking for something more family-friendly, a new Equinox and Trailblazer also come with 0% APR. Let's break this huddle and get down to Don Mealy Chevrolet before the Red Tags are all gone. Chevy, together, let's...
Brother, Dagestan, it's...
So my son's group of kids, you know how last time I sent my kids there?
You want your son
They
there?
go next to Dagestan, my son, and the rest of his
Send,
teammates.
send your son to
I
Dagestan.
go, but I'm going too, though. I'm
Why?
not. He can't go by himself.
Why? Brother, if you want your son high-level wrestling, send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
3 years?
Yes.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. 2 weeks.
Why? Brother, if you want your son high-level wrestling, send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
3 years?
Yes. And forget.
All 60, FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, and streaming on the absolutely free iHeartRadio app. Another week of Dolphins football has come and gone. Let's recap all the action with the legend himself. Presented by the Flynn Law Office.
Oh my, Rick, what a beautiful play. O.J. McDuffie, the number 1 pick.
Here's O.J. McDuffie.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
Miami Dolphins legend, broadcaster, who's been joining us all season long, O.J. McDuffie, joins us as we tie a bow on the season that was for the Miami Dolphins. This segment presented, as it has been all season, by Trey Flynn Law, your free case evaluation. Just a click or a phone call away. Visit TreyFlynn.com or dial 407-557-6350. First and foremost, a happy new year to you, OJ.
Hey, happy new year. How's it going so far? I mean, I know we're a week in, and, a lot can happen in a week, but I hope it is going better than the start of 2025 went for you, my man.
Been a phenomenal year. Best year ever so far. We're only 7 days in, but if I ended it right here, it would rank high. Sadness, relief, joy, what's your feeling overall come the end of the season?
Oh, man, it's been sad for a month now. It's been sad. So I guess relief at this point, but it was sad for that last month once you're eliminated, not playing for much. And then, I'm glad they put us out of our misery, early enough so we weren't too optimistic about going somewhere in the cold weather this week coming up for sure.
I was in high school the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. How sad is that?
I was in that game, man. So I get where you're coming from.
Were you playing in that game?
Oh yeah, I played in that game.
That was an exciting one, though. Jay Fiedler was the quarterback. Peyton Manning was on the opposite side. What do you remember about that game? Take me back to the good days.
Well, you know what, man? I remember, obviously Wanstead was our coach. It was a home playoff game, which you always got to enjoy as well. And I remember Lamar Smith going off in an overtime game, and Dave Wanstead was all about the ground and pound. And man, I think he had like 40 carries over 200-something yards, and of course that last run back then, touchdown ended overtime, and he had that nice run. Of course, guys like myself were tasked with blocking the whole damn game, and it worked out for us that, he was able to follow a couple blocks down the field. I was able to celebrate with him in the end zone, and we were able to move on, man. But that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun being able to be a part of something at home. I think, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think that game was blacked out here because there weren't enough fans in the stands. And so back then, that's how they handled it. When the local markets, you don't have enough fans there, they blacked the game out. So shame on those that didn't come out and witness that thrill-ing victory over Peyton Manning.
That's crazy.
In his earlier days. Yeah,
I was there. I was there, OJ. I did my part. Okay, we'll never forget it.
Hey, I'm happy you guys have been able to reminisce about a game 2.5 decades ago. That's great. But can we get to the matter at hand right now? Is John Harbaugh now a candidate for the Dolphins head coaching job, or is Mike McDaniel, as he indicated at his closing press conference, is he going to be the coach next year?
Yeah, I don't know if, you got that from them, like how you think he said he'd be back. I think what I heard was he hasn't had a conversation yet with Mr. Ross is what I heard. And that's what I like to hear compared to last year when they said right after that loss, the last game we were eliminated, that he and Chris Greer were coming back. So I think there's a conversation that still needs to be had. Maybe Mr. Ross is waiting to see, which shoe would fall when it comes to some of these other coaches, and then they'll have a conversation. Well, for me, if Harbaugh's out there, if Mr. Ross was thinking about Mike coming back, or had the idea that Mike was coming back, I think a lot has changed since that all happened yesterday. So we shall see about that. I also thought that maybe if the Pittsburgh Steelers had lost, maybe Tomlin might have lost his job, and they might be thinking about that one as well. So I mean, hell, they could still lose this weekend. It might still happen. So I think that he was safe for a little while for the first couple of days of the week, but now I don't think he's safe at all.
I was reading Dave Hyde's column in the South Florida Sun Sentinel, and he brought up the point. I guess the Dolphins yesterday morning at some point announced their GM candidates. And then later in the day, when it looked like John Harbaugh was going to be available, they added a candidate, Los Angeles Chargers assistant general manager Chad Alexander, who works for Jim Harbaugh and has worked for John Harbaugh. And Hyde made it sound like that was, a flare sent to John Harbaugh saying, listen, here's your GM candidate if you want to come here.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That's very interesting stuff right there. And I think that, I think that it does make a lot of sense. If nothing else, just to throw us off the scent. You know what I mean? I think that they've got us all speculating on some of the guys. Of course, you see, a lot of guys that, that worked in different markets that, have some ties. But a lot of these guys have ties. I mean, they there's a lot of recycling that goes on in the NFL, and guys were assistant GMs for different places, and they've been all over the league. So, I mean, John Harbaugh being in the league as long as he has, probably worked with a bunch of guys. But that is definitely something that, for us to consider, the fact that, he's worked with this guy, and it's a late ad after the firing of John Harbaugh. So, hey, it's got us all speculating, and like the Dolphins do very well, they've got us all talking about different things that don't mean anything about winning football in the playoffs.
Off-season champs, OJ.
Yeah, that's right. We don't lose it. We don't lose it. We've got like 18 straight Super Bowls in that.
We're talking to OJ McDuffie, Dolphins legend and broadcaster. All right, I want to go back to the year 2000. I'm kidding. What did you think of Quinn Ewers down the stretch in the final couple of games of the season? How would you assess the way that he played? Does he have a chance to be the starter next year?
Well, you know what? I think he'll be in the conversation. He'll definitely be competition. I think they'll probably, obviously, I think Tua has a chance still being on the roster. But, I thought it was a solid start to a career, 1-2 record. There's some quarterbacks that have had worse starts, the Aikmans and the Mannings. Definitely not comparing those two to Quinn Ewers. But at the same time, though, when you're getting his feet wet was a big thing for us to see what we did have in our 7th-round pick. And I thought he handled it pretty well. There was a lot of time, a lot of plays, a lot of throws he'd love to have back, I'm sure. But at the same time, though, he was pleasantly surprising to me. How he played, his disposition out there. I thought he handled everything well. I thought the operation was pretty good. The last game was a little shaky, but man, I was surprised that he had a little more zip than I thought he had. He has a little more mobility than I thought he had, and I think his command of the offense was pretty good, and I think it'll get bigger and better the more reps that he gets. So I'm okay with him so far, but I'm always trying to bring in competition. If there's a big name out there or a guy that we've seen that have been there and done that, I'm always looking at that as well.
Speaking of quarterbacks, what were your thoughts on Tua's that would be dope to get a fresh start somewhere else? I thought that was a little inappropriate.
Yeah, I think we send him to the Northeast and let him play in the cold weather then if he feels that way. See how he likes it up there somewhere. Send him to Cleveland. See how you like that weather up there, bro. Tua had a rough podium year, I think, in my opinion, and that's definitely one of the situations where I don't know. Sometimes he might think. I would hope he'd want to take some things back that he said, but if that'd be dope, then just like I was looking at all this Penn State guys going to transfer portal, they want to go somewhere else. That'd be dope for me too, because we don't want you here if you don't want to be here. So if Tua doesn't want to be here, which I'm sure he does, sometimes he misspeaks, but if he doesn't want to be here, then that says a lot. So sometimes you just gotta be quiet. Sometimes, Mike, just be quiet. Let everybody think other things instead of opening your mouth and proving right about being stupid.
Any big plans for the off season for yourself, OJ? You going anywhere cool?
You know what? Not really. We both live in Florida. We all live in Florida, man. So we live where people vacation. So, I might dip up to Ohio for about 36 hours and I'm gonna come back real fast, something like that. But nothing major. Nothing major takes me out of South Florida. That's for sure.
Well, we appreciate your visit again. This is the second year in a row where we've been able to do this and chop it up every week, talking Dolphins football and perhaps relieving some of the stress that goes along with it, and it is an absolute joy to do so. Thank you for a second season chatting with us about the Miami Dolphins.
No, man, I really appreciate you guys, man. You guys are therapeutical for me, man. Win, lose, or draw, I get to get it off my chest and either pound it or, or exhale from a bad game or everything, man. So I appreciate you guys having me and definitely appreciate Trey Flynn.
All right, we will chat again come August, my friend. That right there, O.J. McDuffie, the broadcaster, the legend, presented by Trey Flynn Law, board certified in criminal trials, both at the state and federal level. That's Trey Flynn Law, 407-557-6350. Your texts and talkbacks on the way next. Don't go anywhere, Gameheads.
Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz.
In sports, you don't win without a game plan, and selling your home is no different. That's why I tell people to call the Nickley Group. They've got an entire team of local market experts who know what's happening in your neighborhood, not just what the national headlines say. If you're thinking about selling, you've got options right now, including a guaranteed offer, no showings, no open houses, closing as little as 14 days. For a guaranteed offer on your home, visit thenicklygroup.com. That's thenicklygroup.com. If you want to buy or sell quickly, just call Nickley.
Accident blocking the shoulder on Florida's Turnpike southbound before 27 has stop-and-go traffic from 33. Slow ride on I-4 eastbound between Orange Blossom Trail and Princeton Street, and lots of company on I-4 eastbound between Osceola Parkway and 535. See traffic troubles? Call the Valvoline Instant Oil Change Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Katie Wilkins.
This report is sponsored by Fresh from Florida.
You can depend on Florida farmers. Our farm is where we live and work. It's where we raise our families and provide for yours. When you shop for Florida-grown fruits and vegetables, look for local. Choose Fresh from Florida, the homegrown brand of Florida farmers.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
They won't say it, but after a crash, your car may lose value, even if it's fixed. It's called diminished value, and we know how to go after it. Farah and Farah. It's what we're built for. Call us.
Orlando. I don't know about you, but I can't stand when I see creepy crawlies all over my house. That's why I have to have a pest control provider that doesn't just treat the pest problem, they solve it. You can keep your home protected from the bugs all year long. Get yourself a termite bond while you're at it. Tell them that Brandon Kravitz and Mike Bianchi from Game On sent you by. Get 10% off of your initial service. Burn Pest is a family-run operation right here in our backyard in Central Florida. Go and find them online easily, and don't stress about these pests anymore. It's burnpests.com.
This Sports Spotlight is brought to you by Capital One Venture X Business Card, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports. Did you know that the first modern Olympic Games to feature female athletes was the Paris Games in 1900? 22 women competed at those games, just 2.2% of all competitors. In sailing, croquet, tennis, and golf. Tennis and golf were the only sports in which women could compete in individual disciplines. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase with the Venture X Business Card by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/VentureXBusiness for details.
Join us daily on 96.9 The Game for your Embers Only Cigar of the Week. Brought to you by Corona Cigar Company. Luxury cigar lifestyle, fine spirits, and relaxation await at your nearest Corona Cigar. Dr. Phillips, downtown, Heathrow, or online at coronacigar.com.
Here's something most of us don't want to think about, but probably should. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton here for our friend Mike Lester and the team at Talon Wealth Management.
That thing we don't want to talk about is a will. If you don't have one, Mike and his team would like to help you out. They'll start you off with a comprehensive financial plan.
If you are 55 or over and have saved at least $250,000 for retirement, the Talon Comprehensive Financial Plan is complimentary. And when that plan's in hand, you will also receive the gift of a will and trust courtesy of Talon Wealth.
The folks at Talon Wealth are not attorneys, but they work with a group of attorneys who'll provide a will and trust at no charge to you. Reach out at 813-755-5000. 813-755-5000. One more time, that's 813-755-5000. And be sure and tell them that Clay and Buck sent you.
Advisory services offered through Talon Private Wealth, LLC, a SEC-registered investment advisor. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or financial advice.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools,
pills, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Why haven't you listened to Red Pilled America? I get it. You must have pronouns in your bio. Because if you don't, then you should be listening to Red Pilled America. It's a storytelling show for patriots. Listen to Red Pilled America on the iHeartRadio app. That's Red Pilled America.
Follow the game on Facebook at 96.9 The Game. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Have you been in an accident? Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
The free iHeartRadio app is the #1 app for radio. One tap gets you the most live radio stations from all over the country. Or make your local go-to a preset on the app with another tap. Get what millions already have, the free iHeartRadio app. The #1 app for radio.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to 60%, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2, Cocoa Beach, Orlando, an iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human. Now back to Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz.
Our new weekly NBA guest, Nick Whalen from RotoWire.com, will be joining us in 5 minutes. We very much look forward to that. The Orlando Valkyries set to tip off the season on Friday at Addition Financial Arena on the UCF campus. I would be there, but there's a Magic game that night, so unfortunately I have to wait on making my arrival at the arena, but you can, provolleyball.com, to get tickets there and more info. Also on Ticketmaster, we've got a Game Heads section. You can text in right now next to who are invited to join on me. Just text Valkyries to 50857. Jaden, just a little birdie in my ear, told me a very fun fact about the Miami Hurricanes. They have played 3 top 10 teams this season, and I'll ask it the way that Jaden asked me. How many total seconds have the Miami Hurricanes trailed against the 3 top 10 teams they have faced this season?
Ohio State.
It's somewhere between 0 and 1,000.
Ohio State. How many seconds?
Total seconds. Wild guess. Closest to the
0.
pen. 0 is correct. Dominant.
Wow.
Yep.
Best defense in the country.
Speaking of college football, Kravitz, you want to talk about the game on umbrella, okay? The game on umbrella of Jacksonville, Orlando, Tallahassee. ESPN just came out with all of its bowl ratings. 3 of the top 4 bowl ratings under the game on umbrella, all right? Number 1, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl right here in Orlando, 9.1 million viewers to watch Michigan, Texas. Number 2, the Pop-Tarts Bowl right here in Orlando, 8.7 million viewers watch Georgia Tech, BYU. Number 4, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Virginia versus Missouri, 6 million viewers. And number 3,
not under the Game On umbrella. That was Penn State Clemson in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, 7.6 million viewers. So 3 of the top 4 under the Game On umbrella.
Love that. I think there's a direct correlation to us being in the state of Florida in the winter and that being desirable locations for some of the best teams to go and play their bowl games, come to the state, and actually use this as a vacation as well as the entertainment and the pride of playing in a bowl game. It's also a credit to the Pop-Tarts Bowl being the best advertised bowl game. It is the best marketing that any bowl game does. I mean, you've got one that has cans of beans now, and even the Cheez-It Bowl, which is in the same building, tries to emulate what the Pop-Tarts Bowl does. Nobody does it like these goofy Pop-Tarts that are going into the toasters and they're fighting with each other. It's the funniest thing in the world. It's so great. Absolute brilliance. Whoever came up with that idea deserves double what they make right now.
Yeah, who did come up with that idea?
Somebody that works at Pop-Tarts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think it is that simple. I think if I ran a business, the first thing I would do in marketing my business, ready? This is free advice for you guys out there that own a business. Take a couple extra bucks out of the kitty and go buy yourself a mascot. Everybody loves a mascot. Just walk around. People want to take pictures with you. Those pictures end up on the internet. It is free marketing once you get past the costs of the mascot outfit. The best.
Maybe we should have a mascot other than Jaden.
It's not a bad idea. Let's see. Well, let's put some funds together and see if it would be like a big sports ball. Game On sports ball. Go take pictures with them at the local fair. More Game On the way. We got a new guest who will be joining us in seconds, Nick Whalen from RotoWire.com, talking all things NBA. But right now, we step aside for 60 seconds and get the latest sports update from Fox Sports Radio.
Live, local, in your face, and bald. Very bald. Let's send you to the studio for the premier afternoon sports show in the state of Florida. Game On with Mike Bianchi and Brandon Kravitz.
I said, are you?
Oh, okay. We're back. I got all excited. I heard DX chopping it up there on the rejoin. Welcome back to the show. Our 4 o'clock hour presented by Wing House. We have a new feature, a new guest, a new segment every Wednesday at this time with a better intro coming in the future than what you heard right there. We welcome in my favorite hoop head in the continental U.S., Nick Whalen from RotoWire.com. You can catch him on the Fantasy Sports Channel on Sirius XM Radio as well, weekday afternoons. My favorite listen on my drive into the studio. And Mike Bianchi, my co-host, will be very entertained to learn that Nick and Bianchi have something in common. You guys are both Jacksonville Jaguar fans.
Absolutely. Yes.
Welcome to the show, Nick.
Thank you. Usually that is not an intro that I would be proud of. You know, that's something that I try to hide. I try to shroud from the public. But we have a rare instance now with the Jags riding an 8-game winning streak into the playoffs, where I can proudly say, yes, indeed, Brandon, I am a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
That's right. That's right. And hopefully next time we bring you on, we can celebrate their victory over the Bills. But we are here to chat some hoops. I need your 30,000-foot I live in Wisconsin view of the Orlando Magic and their recent struggles. Talk us off the ledge here.
Man, it's a tough watch. It's a really tough watch right now. I am actually not surprised that they struggled with the Washington Wizards last night. Wizards have actually been playing pretty well over the last 10 games. And, if you looked at some of the advanced numbers, had basically been playing even with the Magic over that span. Neither team has had an overly tough schedule. I think that's what's been particularly troubling, about this last month or so for Orlando is there hasn't been, some sort of just ringer of, Western Conference powers over and over. It's like you're taking losses to the Hornets and the Wizards and the Chicago Bulls in these spots where you think this team would show up. Now, I don't think we can ignore, Jalen Suggs being in and out of the lineup, obviously Franz Wagner being out of the lineup. I think that's impacted this team perhaps more than expected. But you just look at some of these season-long numbers. They were one of the 2 best defenses in the NBA a year ago. They've essentially regressed now back to league average. They're about a league average offense. They're about a league average team. I mean, they're a plus 1.3 net rating on the season, and that's what lands you in 7th place in the East. That's what gets you a 20-17 record so far. And having watched a few of these games in person lately, Brandon, it doesn't look smooth. I see Desmond Bane still kind of struggling to figure out his role. I see Paolo Banchero pulling up from 17 feet instead of kicking it to a wide open 3-point shooter on the wing. And of course, 3-point shooting was a huge issue for this team last year. It's still a problem. They're 25th in attempts. They're 26th in the NBA in makes per game. They're shooting 34% from 3. That's not good enough in 2026.
Do you agree with the decision from Jamal Mosley last night? I don't know how much you were able to lock in, but the general rundown of what happened, if you didn't see it, was the Magic were down by 26 against the Washington Wizards. They basically wave the white flag. Let's throw the rookies out there. Let's throw Tyus Jones out there, give Isaac some run. And the backups bring the team all the way back with about 4 minutes left. They're down by 2, but they had run out of gas. I mean, it takes a lot of energy to do that. And Jamal Mosley stuck with those guys, and they wound up losing the game by 8. Do you think he made the right decision in keeping the starters, who were not good last night, on the bench, or is that a time to say, okay, you've got a bad Wizards team on the ropes, let's bring in the guys who should be able to get it done?
I think he did the right thing leaving those guys in to close the gap, and then that creates a really interesting decision, right, where it's like, okay, do we go back to the guys who we know deep down are our best players, even if they're not playing at that level tonight, or do we try to, in a roundabout way, reward the Noah Pendas and Goga Batadzes and Jett Howards of the world who helped us climb back into this game? In retrospect, I think it's easy to say, to your point, that they were probably gassed. A lot of those guys, are not used to playing the type of minutes loads consecutively that they did last night in the second half. So I think if Jamal Mosley could do it over again, he probably does go back to the starters. But, this is also a coach who's probably frustrated with the results so far. And, it's almost one of those impulse decisions where you're like, hey, you guys got us into this mess. We're not going to let you go in and get the glory at the end here. So, again, it's just emblematic of a team, especially against the Washington Wizards, man. I know that team is playing better, but better for the Wizards means you're like the 7th worst team in the NBA over the last 3 weeks instead of the worst or the 2nd worst. These are the type of losses that Orlando just has to figure out a way to get out of their system. And look, I think they'll be significantly better when Franz Wagner comes back, but I'm sure it's tough for you guys down in Orlando to look at what's happening in Detroit and kind of see that team with a pretty similar roster in terms of overall talent and say, that should be us. That's how we thought we would be doing this season.
Speaking of the Wizards, I was reading the story that Trae Young, everybody knows the Hawks are working on a trade. He prefers a trade to the Wizards. Who the hell prefers a trade to the Wizards?
That is a perfectly phrased question. Does the NBA have a problem with superstars trying to force their way to teams like the Washington Wizards? It speaks to, one, where the Wizards are at, and two, where Trae Young is at, right? It's like you got to be in dire straits. I don't care who you are, to be trying to force a trade to the Washington Wizards. In my mind, nobody should be trying to trade for Trae Young right now, especially not the Washington Wizards. I guess I understand it just from an asset grab perspective, but Trae Young has a nearly $50 million player option next year. Are you reworking a contract with a guy who in a much better situation, definitively proved over the last few years that it's just really, really difficult, if not borderline impossible, to win with a defensive liability like that in your lineup. I don't really understand it from Washington's perspective. You actually have some kind of intriguing young pieces on this team. You had some bad luck in the lottery, but you're going to take your shot at that again this year. But it just speaks to where we're at with Trae Young. I mean, this was a guy not that long ago, even with the defensive faults, we were talking about as well, a borderline top 10 player, top 15 guy in the NBA. And now you're trying to force the way to the Washington Wizards. And, to me, this is just about Trae Young wanting his own team, right, which he will have in Washington. But to what end? He's not at the point in his career where, you should be in Russell Westbrook mode just trying to get numbers
right.
35 years old. It's like, this is a guy that should want to compete. And I just don't see that happening in Washington anytime soon.
Also, speaking of teams that are struggling now, comparatively speaking, the Thunder are 6-6 in their last 12 after that red-hot start. Anything going on with them, or are they just sort of in cruise control?
I think it's more so the latter. And, frankly, I think there's probably a buying opportunity right now on the Thunder, back to plus money to win the title at plus 115. We've seen the Spurs obviously assert themselves as a worthy adversary. Denver when healthy, Houston when healthy. I think they're in that mix. But to me, Oklahoma City, I think is pretty definitively proven over the last year and a half that, when they're at their best, they're pretty clearly the best team in the NBA. So I think we hold the Thunder to such a high standard. Anytime they lose a game, especially when they get blown out by the Hornets, it registers as like an emergency situation. Whereas other teams take losses like that all the time. You just move on. You go play the next game. I think it's gone a little bit undercovered that OKC, they've expanded that rotation. They're not playing a lot of their guys big minutes. They're mixing in some inexperienced players. To me, it makes them a little bit more prone to these off shooting nights like we saw. Against Charlotte, it was a little alarming to see SGA struggle to that degree, but if anything, to me, it just speaks to how ridiculously consistent they are, that when they have a trip-up game like this, or they have a couple weeks where they don't look dominant, we start panicking about, oh my God, are they not going to cruise their way to the title? Like, the bar for the Thunder is so much higher than any other team.
One of the teams that I feel like, maybe not anymore, but has been slept on to this point in the season is the Boston Celtics, because they don't have Jason Tatum. But they have been one of the best teams in the league. We keep saying the East is wide open. The East is wide open. Well, how about a team that has already proven that they can get there, and there's still a chance, I believe, that Tatum could come back. Boston is an aggressive team front office-wise. We haven't gotten to the trade deadline yet. That's a team that I'm looking at and saying, people need to start taking the Celtics seriously again. I don't think that this is a fluke. Are you with me that the Celtics are legitimately one of the better teams in the NBA right now, or do you think that this is just a mini hot streak from a bunch of guys that want to prove themselves?
No, I think they're serious. I think they are. When they struggled out of the gate, it wasn't to me a reflection of a roster that didn't have enough. It was more about both Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, who are your number 2 and number 3 options now, getting off to horrible shooting starts. I mean, both guys were like under 30% from 3. Derek White is still recovering from that. If you look at his season-long numbers, it's certainly not the roster that it was a year ago or the year before that when they won the title. But part of the reason that I think they're serious, one, is that I do truly believe Jason Tatum is coming back. I don't know how much they're going to get out of him during the regular season, but I think the idea is that he's able to gradually ramp his way up, and come playoff time, you're getting close to peak Jason Tatum. I don't think they'd bring him back if they thought there was serious future risk. The other part of this is, if not Boston, who in the Eastern Conference? Like, there's going to be inherent skepticism about this Pistons team, a franchise that has basically done nothing over the last 15 years. There are a lot of nights where the Pistons feel like a one-man team with Cade Cunningham. The Knicks have had their chances to ascend. They have not done that. Toronto got off to a nice start. They've cooled off. You're always going to have the same questions about Philadelphia with Embiid and Paul George. And, the Cavaliers, this is supposed to be their year. They're sitting at 21-17 right now. They're 7 games back of Detroit in the Eastern Conference. So even if you are somewhat of a Celtics skeptic, my challenge to you is then, okay, what team do you feel great about coming out of the East right now?
Predict the score this weekend, Jags-Bills. What do you got?
You put me in a bad spot here, man. I'm trying to have as little non-football leverage on this game as possible. I don't want to bet it. I can't double lose here, bet on the Jags and then have my heart broken if they lose this game. Total's up to 52.5 though, man. This is being billed as the shootout of the weekend. I don't know if I quite buy into that I think the defensive strengths for both teams kind of line up with the offensive weaknesses of the other. I'm not going to pick against my Jags on air, especially for a Florida station. We'll go Jags 24, Bills 23 on a Cam Little walk-off field goal.
Who would have ever thought the two best quarterbacks in the AFC going head-to-head? Huh?
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
That's going to be fun. My favorite hoop head in the continental U.S., Nick Whalen from RotoWire.com. Thanks so much, Nick. We'll chat again next week.
Anytime, guys.
Up next, for as much trash as we talk about the college football landscape, how beautiful is this Final Four that we are about to embark on? Bianchi and I share our thoughts on that sport hitting the refresh button next.
Game on with Bianchi and Kravitz. We'll be right back after this.
In sports, protecting your home field is always priority number one, and you should feel the same about your house. And believe me, nothing protects your home like Renewal by Andersen's Acclaim Impact Windows. Fibrex material that's twice as strong as vinyl, storm-tested durability, energy efficiency, noise reduction, the whole package. Everything Florida throws at these windows, the Impact windows are ready. Builder-grade windows don't stand up to Florida pressure. Acclaim Impact windows do, year after year after year. And during their Happy Renewal Year sale, you can buy one window or patio door, get the second 40% off, plus zero down, zero payments, zero interest for 1 year. How good is that? Whether you're in Central Florida, the Gulf Coast, or in Jacksonville, visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com, license number CGC 1527613, Renewal by Andersen, where comfort meets savings.
I've been telling you guys about Kevin Krager with LPT Realty, one of the top 25 producing agents in Central Florida. My guy is money, and he joins me now to chat about the latest in real estate. What's the one piece of advice that you would give to first-time home buyers?
Interview agents and ask important questions. Ask what's important to that agent. Make sure that agent is listening to you and understands what it is that you need when you're buying a house. There's hundreds of thousands of agents across this country, and a lot of people can buy and sell real estate, but to protect what you're doing, you need to make sure that agent is really connecting with you, really listening to you, and has your best interest at heart. It's not just a paycheck for me. It's not just a paycheck for a lot of agents, but I want a long-lasting relationship. I'm going to give loyalty to you. And then I also would say, as a home buyer, giving loyalty back to that agent, because at some point you're going to want to sell that house.
Trust and loyalty. You can count on Kevin for that. He'll move you right along through the real estate buying and selling process. 407-702-4635.
Traffic delays picking up now. I-4 eastbound between Central Florida Parkway and Sand Lake Road. Stop and go on I-4 westbound between Parr Street and Robinson Street. And crews still working on an accident. I-4 westbound at 429 where the right shoulder is blocked. See traffic troubles? Call the Valvoline Instant Oil Change Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Katie Wilkins.
This report is sponsored by Red Pilled America.
Why haven't you listened to Red Pilled America? I get it. You must have pronouns in your bio. Because if you don't, then you should be listening to Red Pilled America. It's a storytelling show for patriots. Listen to Red Pilled America on the iHeartRadio app. That's Red Pilled America.
The new year is a perfect time to refresh your home with Benjamin Moore paint at Tools Ace Hardware. Discover thousands of beautiful Benjamin Moore colors, including the new 2026 color of the year, Silhouette. At Tools Ace Hardware, their knowledgeable associates are ready to help you one-on-one with your next paint project. Rollers, brushes, drop cloths, they have it all. Visit one of Tools Ace Hardware's 14 Central Florida locations or shop online at acehardware.com for convenient in-store pickup or local delivery, even on paint. Tools Ace Hardware, your local helpful place.
They won't say it, but after a crash, your car may lose value, even if it's fixed. It's called diminished value, and we know how to go after it. Farah and Farah, it's what we're built for. Call us.
Orlando,
Step into a world where history, finance, and fun all come together. The 71st Annual Florida United Numismatists Winter Coin Show. It's happening this Thursday through Sunday at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando. This year's spotlight, Paper Money, Portraits of History. Explore more than 700 tables filled with coins, paper money, and precious metals. Meet dealers from across the country. Discover fascinating educational exhibits. Attend free seminars, pan for gold, and even connect directly with the U.S. Mint. Looking to invest? Secure American gold and silver eagles at wholesale prices. Want to learn more about your own collection? Bring any coin or currency for a free appraisal. Featuring nearly 1,000 dealers, world-class heritage auctions, and thousands of passionate collectors, this fun show launches the numismatic year with unmatched excitement. Make it a family outing. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Doors open daily from 10 a.m. and admission is absolutely free. For more information, visit funtopics.com. That's funtopics.com.
Join us daily on 96.9 The Game for your Embers-only Cigar of the Week. Brought to you by Corona Cigar Company. Luxury cigar lifestyle, fine spirits, and relaxation await at your nearest Corona cigar. Dr. Phillips, downtown Heathrow, or online at coronacigar.com.
It's a new year, and Aleve is here to help you keep your New Year's resolutions on track. Whether it's a daily walk, hitting the gym, or spending more time with friends and family, Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you moving with long-lasting body pain relief so you can chase those dreams and achieve your goals. Don't let body pain slow you down. Keep going with Aleve, because this year is your year. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
We are Orlando's sports leader, broadcasting live from the FM 96.9 The Game studio. Brought to you by the Nickley Group, Orlando's home team, doing real estate differently. TheNickleyGroup.com.
Jesus didn't live passively. He lived on a rescue mission. As we step into the new year, the Daily Pursuit with Tim Tebow podcast reminds us that God has called us to more, to live on purpose and rise as conquerors. As followers of Christ, we're called to do the same, because discipline may be painful in the moment, but it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search The Daily Pursuit with Tim Tebow, and listen now.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Prediction markets have absolutely flooded the betting landscape, but no one's doing it better and more above board than Better Edge. The question that you have to ask yourself if you're interested in taking sports betting to that next level is this: do I want whatever lines and odds are offered to me in the first place I look, or do I want the best of the number? If you answered the second one, you're off to a good start. If you head to betteredge.com or download the app, then you're halfway home to becoming a winning sports bettor. Greg and James run a tight ship. They are disruptors to the industry, and they're game heads just like you. So come and bet with me and some of the sharpest sharps around over on Better Edge. Test your knowledge and make a profit off of all that wealth of information you have trapped inside of your head. Better Edge lets you put the power back in your hands as a sports fan. Sign up for the first time. You'll get $20 on the house. Just use the promo code BeatBrandon at sign up. That's promo code BeatBrandon at betteredge.com or on the Better Edge app.
Saturday, it's the first round of the NFC playoffs as Matt Stafford and the Rams take on Bryce Young and the Panthers. Kickoff is 4 p.m. Catch every exciting moment of this year's NFL playoffs as it unfolds right here on your home for Super Bowl 60. FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, and streaming on the absolutely free iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to the premier afternoon sports show in the state of Florida. Game On with Mike Bianchi and Brandon Kravitz.
Yeah, big fan of Nick. I've had a chance to work with him a lot over the last couple of years. I did a fantasy basketball podcast with him. This guy is a wealth of knowledge. I can't believe he let me stay on that podcast for 2 years. I know a lot about the NBA. I know very little about fantasy basketball. I don't even really play it, and but it was a chance to talk to him every week, and that's how we get to know each other. We worked together over the summer, did a couple of VSiN TV shows together, and I'm just always blown away with his wealth of knowledge. We could stretch far and wide beyond the NBA, but we needed somebody that we could hyper-focus on the National Basketball Association with, and he was definitely an easy candidate, and I appreciate your compliments.
He also gave you a betting tip. Take the Thunder. They got some good odds now, huh?
It's not long enough for me. I mean, I respect his opinion, but they're like plus 425. That's not. I need.
What is that? You bet 100, you get 425 back.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have 100 of my dollars. Say that's what you were to go with. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, I'm gonna have that tied up for 4 times the money, potentially. And it's not a bad bet. I just think there are better bets out there to be made. Like I brought up, and I did it in more of a sly way than would you bet this, but one of the bets that I made recently was the Boston Celtics, 30-1 to win the championship. OKC looks vulnerable to me. And so if they're vulnerable, who's going to take them out? If you think they're still going to get to the finals, are they just going to roll whoever they play in the East? What if the Celtics have Jason Tatum? What if they make a big trade at the deadline? I like to get ahead of those things rather than chase the favorite. So that's just the way that I wager.
There you go. You like the long shots. All right. College football playoffs, obviously, even though I still don't think I don't understand the lack of hype for this college football playoff. Actually, I do understand it. First of all, they're playing on Thursday and Friday night. Why in the hell are they playing on Thursday and Friday night? Because the NFL has dominated the weekends now. So the college football semis are on Thursday night when the Canes take on Ole Miss, and then Friday night, obviously, when Oregon takes on Indiana. I love it, Kravitz. I think this college football Final Four is a breath of fresh air. I really do. I love the fact that you don't have the same old in the Final Four. Miami, obviously, their return to dominance after 25 years of being irrelevant is awesome for state of Florida fans. I think it's awesome for college football. I wrote a column in the Sentinel yesterday essentially saying what we've been talking about. I think college football is a lot better when Miami matters. So it's good to have Miami back. Indiana, you want to talk about one of the great college football stories of all time? The losingest program, the losingest Power 4 program in history is the number 1 seed in the college football playoff. And then Ole Miss, good Lord, what a Cinderella. They're the only SEC team left. No Alabama, no Georgia, no LSU. You have Ole Miss, this ragamuffin bunch who doesn't even know who their coaches are going to be tomorrow night. You have, Lane Kiffin bolted before the playoff even started. So they're a great story. And Oregon, even though they've been a modern-day powerhouse, they're still not. I don't think Oregon is considered one of the blue bloods, are they?
Oregon? They're like right on the outside.
I still look at Oregon as sort of a nouveau riche, if you will.
I don't think they're quite that. They're like caught in the middle between blue blood and the new age crop.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I like how fresh this Final Four is, but it is missing something. We are missing the villain. We are missing the team that everyone can clearly cheer against. There's all these teams that have these great stories, that have these feel-goods of you would be happy for them as an unbiased viewer that just likes college football, saying, I'm proud of Ole Miss overcoming the lane stuff, or Oregon finally claiming a national championship, or Indiana being the sweetheart that they are. Even Miami. Miami hasn't won in 20 years. What is Red Riding Hood without the big bad wolf? What is Batman without the Joker? What is Goldilocks without the soup that's too hot? I need the villain in the college football playoff. There, not several. I don't need Bama and Georgia. I need one. I need Ohio State. One team that we all collectively decide, no, we don't want them involved in this, and we're missing that.
Was Ohio State really a villain?
Hell yes.
Absolutely. Was Georgia
Yes.
to me, Michigan was a villain when they were cheating.
Them too.
A couple years ago. But
villains are teams that.
Are you talking about just dominant team? A dominant team? Is that a villain?
They become a villain. Unless they have someone that's super likable, but for the most part, these programs run by gruff Nick Saban. This is before he started going on game day and the McAfee
commercial.
Yeah, this is before he was all likable. Kirby Smart comes across like he'll rip your head off, and he just wants his team to do the same thing to you, and you can't score on us. And who the hell likes Ohio State? Well, you're missing that. When you have a lot of darlings. You have a lot of darlings. It's great. It is fresh. But if you're asking me, is this perfect? No, because never mind the large gap in between all of these games. I just feel like there's no momentum until
there's no momentum. I don't think it's because of the villain, though.
No. I mean, the momentum part is a separate issue. But but in terms of the overall interest, if you're saying we are trying to build more college football fans with the collection of games that we have in front of us, I don't think that this Final Four is doing that. I think that it is satisfying college football fans that want to watch good games and want something new, but you're not bringing in new fans because there's nothing to cheer against, and I think that matters to people.
I just wish it wasn't getting lost in the shuffle, because to me, it's lost in the shuffle because of where they're playing the games, when they're playing the games.
It's
There's
just
no
almost.
build-up.
It's just that part's almost unavoidable. That was a BCS problem too. We can go back before there was even a playoff. It felt like these games were buried.
Okay, but the first round games felt bigger for whatever reason. These games in the middle of the week, stop it. What are we doing here? Playing games on a Thursday night? A Thursday? They should be playing these games on Saturday, Super Saturday.
No, Mike, they used to play the national championship, and they still do, on Monday night.
Okay, but Monday night is still considered a football night.
Well, Thursday night has kind of become a football night.
Yeah, every night's a football night.
Up next,
Saturday night.
A midweek edition of Mic'd Up. What are the coaches? What are the players that are making the headlines? What are they saying? We'll find out next.
Game on with Bianchi and Kravitz.
This is your Tools Ace Hardware Assist of the Night. Jace Richardson cooking in D.C.
Magic down 17. Jace fighting his way to the rim, flipped it up and in with the left hand. Are you kidding me? This is a ball game. 15 points. Come on now.
Now, I don't want to tell you how it ended, but I can tell you this, that if you're gearing up for game day, Tools Ace is your MVP for grilling greatness. From Big Green Egg to Traeger, they have everything you need to fire up the flavor. 14 Central Florida locations, including their brand new store in downtown Windermere. Tools Ace is your neighborhood home maintenance expert, the helpful place every night and your best stop before the game. Visit toolsacehardware.com and go Magic.
What's up, sports fans? It's the Bulldog, Mike Bianchi. For 50 straight seasons, Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont has been your truck MVP. And right now, they're putting together a game-winning drive during their Chevy Red Tag event, where you can get 0% APR for 36 months on a brand new Silverado and more than $13,000 in savings. Prefer an SUV? Also get 0% APR on a new Equinox and Trailblazer. Better move fast. These red tags don't last. Chevy, together, let's drive.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Here's something most of us don't want to think about, but probably should. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton here for our friend Mike Lester and the team at Talon Wealth Management.
That thing we don't want to talk about is a will. If you don't have one, Mike and his team would like to help you out. They'll start you off with a comprehensive financial plan.
If you are 55 or over and have saved at least $250,000 for retirement, the Talon Comprehensive Financial Plan is complimentary. And when that plan's in hand, you will also receive the gift of a will and trust courtesy of Talon Wealth.
The folks at Talon Wealth are not attorneys, but they work with a group of attorneys who'll provide a will and trust at no charge to you. Reach out at 813-755-5000. 813-755-5000. One more time, that's 813-755-5000. And be sure and tell them that Clay and Buck sent you.
Advisory services offered through Talon Private Wealth, LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or financial advice.
The world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, only at Monster Jam. Buy qualifying original Super Glue products and save 20% on ticket face value. Offer available participating Tools Ace hardware stores. See stores for details. Come into Camping World Stadium this Saturday.
The college football semifinals are this week. Trade on games legally in Florida on Kalshi. Will Miami take the W? They're trading at 57% to win. That means $100 trade pays out $170 if they win. Make money trading on football, politics, culture, and more. If it matters, you can trade on it with Kalshi. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code IHEART to get $20 when you trade $100. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Your freedom is everything, and the Trey Flynn Law Office is here to preserve it when the stakes are high. Trey is board certified at the state and federal level and is committed to winning and working for you. Trey is a trusted member of the Central Florida community. He's as polished and experienced a lawyer as you will find, and he's got all the stats to back it up. In sports, bad calls change games. In court, they change lives. Call Trey Flynn Law when you need a win in the clutch. 407-557-6350 or visit TreyFlynn.com. Orlando Magic basketball lives here on 96.9 The Game, and your game day Magic coverage is powered by IBEW Local 606. Proud to serve electrical workers across Central Florida, providing its members with a supportive community, training, valuable benefits, and advancement opportunities. IBEW Local 606 has been powering and serving Central Florida for over 75 years, and they are the dream team for electrical workers across this area. For more info, head to IBEWLocal606.org and go Magic.
Want to make 2026 your year of adventure? Book that trip and learn a new language with Babbel. Go ahead, make a resolution you can stick to. Now is the time. Babbel's New Year sale is here. Unlock all of the languages on Babbel with a lifetime subscription for 65% off. Turn your daydream into a destination this year with Babbel. Get Babbel's lifetime access for less at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/fast. That's ethos.com/fast.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Buzz Knight, host of the Taking a Walk podcast. Step with us into the world of music. I bring you up-close conversations with new and legendary musicians. For one of the best music interview podcasts, listen to Taking a Walk on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Game on with Bianchi and Kravitz.
Ice Cube is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I'm curious. I was reading some stuff on you, and it says even when you were pursuing your music career, you still attended a college and got an architectural drafting degree or something.
Definitely not a degree. It's more like a certificate.
Okay,
but I did complete the course.
But it was just sort of your fallback.
It was my fallback, man. You know, we was doing some,
is that for young
some
people?
dirty rhymes. You know, they was hardcore. We didn't know anybody was going to hear that outside of our neighborhood, so I had to have something to fall back on.
Do you tell kids today to have a fallback plan?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nothing stands without a plan. So you
wow.
you
Quote of the
can't.
day.
Yeah, you
Boom.
can't. Yeah, that's a bar.
Listen to Game On with Bianchi and Kravitz weekdays starting at 3 p.m. on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, and streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
A report in Sports Business Journal says that NFL attendance dropped nearly 1% this season. That's the league's first loss since the pandemic. Over to the NBA, where the Magic continue their road trip tonight with the second leg of a back-to-back there in Brooklyn. Orlando coming off that loss in Washington. And Lightning forward Nikita Kucherov had 2 assists against Colorado Tuesday. That extended his point streak to 8 games. I'm Scott Davidson.
This is Chris Broussard. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Discover.
Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Monday, the first round of the NFL playoffs concludes as C.J. Stroud and the Texans meet Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers in a showdown from the Steel City. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Catch every exciting moment of this year's NFL playoffs as it unfolds. Right here on your home for Super Bowl 60. FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, and streaming on the absolutely free iHeartRadio app. Coaches, players, GMs, everyone's got an opinion these days. Let's hear from the biggest names in the game. It's time for Mic'd Up.
Mic'd Up brought to you by Adventure Boat Share. Unlimited hassle-free boating, and you don't even have to own a boat. You can go boating anytime you want, on any type of boat you want. Check them out at adventureboatshare.com. All right, we're going to do an all-college football version of Mic'd Up today because we have the semifinals cranking up tomorrow. Let's start with Oregon coach Dan Lanning on the college football calendar and schedule and how the transfer portal is open while the playoffs are still going on. Here's Dan Lanning's solution.
Every playoff game should be played every single weekend until you finish the season. Ideally, the season, even if it means we start week 0 or you eliminate a bye, the season ends January 1st. This should be the last game. It should be the championship game, and then the portal opens. And then coaches that have to move on to their next opportunities get the opportunity to move to their next opportunities.
Boom.
It's almost too simple, Mike.
Yes, it really is. I mean, just think of how big New Year's Day would be again if the championship game was on New Year's Day and you had the build up to the playoffs before the NFL is ending its season and getting ready for its playoffs. It would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Yeah. So this is like it feels like I'm looking at a meme that this isn't one that exists, but maybe it does, where there's somebody standing looking at 2 different doors they can walk in, and one says overly complicated, makes no sense, and is probably a disaster, and the other door says simple and resolute. And it feels like the people that run college football are look at the one that says complex and a disaster, and they go, I just have to see what's on the other side of this door. I can't help myself. I want to know what's on the other side. Let's choose that one. It seems so easy. I don't get it.
College football truly is idiot-proof. The fact that they're getting the ratings and making the money that they do is unbelievable, considering who's running the sport or who's not running the sport. Speaking of that, here's Mario Cristobal talking about trying to coach for a national championship and navigate the transfer portal when other teams are trying to steal his players.
Well, I think it happens all the time, and if we don't think it is happening, then we're kidding ourselves. But quite honestly, I don't blame the players. I blame the adults. We created the system, right? We're supposed to be setting the example, right? We're supposed to be setting the standard as it relates to everything. So when you create a system that has as many holes as it does, well then, shame on you if you're surprised by some of the results that come with it. So, but again, these circumstances aren't unique to just one program. We all are faced with it.
College football doesn't have holes, all right? It has canyons, all right? It has canyons. That's what college football has. And he's right. It's all because the kids who are entering the transfer portal,
hey, this is their chance to make the money. All right.
Yeah.
So you can't really blame them if the rules say you can enter the transfer portal right now.
How can anybody blame any student athlete for doing that when you literally had a coach take his team to the college football playoff and said, "Hey guys, I got a better opportunity. I'm out."
Right.
That happened. Talk about the adults. This is happening at that level. You can't be upset when a player does it.
Nah. Speaking of Cristobal, here's him being asked the question, is the U back?
I mean, those were unique times. I firmly believe that those times, that era cannot be duplicated, right? It just was a different college football landscape. But it was awesome, and I was a nobody on an unbelievable team with insanely good Hall of Fame teammates. But the experience itself was an absolute game changer for myself and my mentality. It shaped my DNA, everything that I believe in. My entire belief system was shaped and molded by what I learned during that time. And so it's been a 20-plus year journey to return and not take Miami back, but move Miami forward. We've progressed a bunch, and we still have a ways to go. We've earned our way here, and we still have to earn every single play that the opportunity we have tomorrow night. So I don't know how to answer that question. Not yet. I don't think those things are really assessed, analyzed, and commented on until the season's over.
He's right. I wrote about this in my column yesterday. It can never be like it was when Miami won the 5 national championships in less than 20 years. I talked to Jimmy Johnson about this quite a few years ago. I did a story on him at his home in the Keys, and he just told me that was just such a Miami was so unique back then because they were independent. They could schedule all these big name opponents. They were on national TV, and it was sort of just an intersection of, geography, TV, the cultural phenomenon that was Miami football at the time. That can never be duplicated. Kravitz.
No, and they were able to build NFL level rosters.
Right.
That now you can have a loaded team. There are loaded teams in college football. I would just say to anybody listening, if you're bored at any moment in the next couple of days, just Google the rosters of the Miami Hurricanes from the mid-90s to 2001. It's insane. I mean, it looks like a create-your-own Madden team.
Create your own NFL Hall of Fame or Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I mean, just look. I have 2001 pulled up right now. Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Andre Johnson, Jeremy Shockey, Ed Reed, Vince Wilfork, Jonathan Vilma. It's insane. No, you can't build teams like – you can build good teams. You can't build that in today's college football.
Ole Miss coach Pete Golden on the fiasco of not knowing which of his assistant coaches who went with Lane Kiffin at LSU would be available to stay and coach Ole Miss. Here's Pete Golden talking about that.
Yeah, so obviously John Garrison, we have our offensive line coach that we've had all year. Right? We have our running back coach Kevin Smith that we've had all year. We have our offensive coordinator who calls the plays right here, and he's been here all year. Joe Cox is not here, and George McDonald's not here. Right, receivers and tight ends. And that's been something that's coming the whole time, right? There's been constant communication. They have another job that is paying them, and they have a responsibility. And at this time, the way the calendar is now, and I wasn't going to get into this, they have 35 guys that are in the portal. They have to build a team. So obviously, do they want to be here? You're damn right they do, right? But again, I mean, the situation that it is, right? They've got a job to do, and they've got to build a team where they're at. And where their window is right now, we've made it when it's in the semifinals of the national championship.
Okay, so that's Pete Golden talking about that. He also said, hey, I've been at Division II, so I know what not having a bunch of coaches is like.
Yeah, I mean, I think every year is pretty chaotic. Everything creates, depending upon the time of the year and what's going on and all those type of things. I think, no different in coaching and playing. I mean, you find a way. You're not looking for excuses, and you're not thinking about everything else. You're looking for solutions. And, the coaching piece of this has been a big part of who's there, who's not there. Like, I come Division II and 1AA. We got 6 coaches in Division II. You're the strength conditioning coach. You're the academic coordinator. You got a coach. I mean, I walk in the academic staff meeting. I mean, the offensive room this morning, and there's 9 guys that have been here all year in there, and there's 4 more added to it. There's 13 guys in the offensive staff room that 9 of them have been here all year. I mean, I think we got enough guys to be able to coach and know the system and do it the right way. So mine has just been trying to keep it as routine as possible. And that's been the whole thing the entire time. This is still the 2025 season.
He is right about that. I think sometimes we overrate not having, the tight ends coach isn't there. Well, you know who is there? The 3 tight end analysts that all of these big-time schools have that have been there all year, who know the playbook. Yeah, you don't have your running game coordinator. Yeah, but you got 6 analysts who work on the running game who've been there all year.
Yeah,
So it is a little bit different these days.
We overrate it because we don't know how to rate it, so we just overrate it. Liam Cohen used to be the wide receivers coach for the LA Rams. I'm sure that he had immense value in that position. And but you didn't know who he was, so you didn't know that the wide receiver coach at that time had a lot of value. We don't know. The running back coach might have the same level of value to the staff as his assistant or his assistant's assistant. I think my biggest takeaway is, why in the world do we have so many coaches? Why?
You know who the running back coach is, right?
For Ole Miss?
Yeah.
No.
Kevin Smith, former UCF.
Oh, I should have known that. I should have known that.
Well, he's not the running back coach for Ole Miss. He's actually the running back coach at LSU, but he's coaching tomorrow for Ole Miss.
A quick story. This will be 30 seconds. I promise, Jaden, we're going to commercial break. I was doing a live show at UCF. We were right outside of the field, kind of in a concourse area on that first level. I was with the shot doctor, and we had a segment where we were talking about how much of a bust Kevin Smith was in the NFL.
Oh, my God.
And this guy walks by in the middle of the segment, walks right by our table while we're going back and forth on this. And you know how the shot doctor was. He was going in on it. And it was Kevin Smith walking right by, just grilling us. I was like, this. And he shot is so oblivious. He had no idea. I'm like, all right, let's go to break. And what we're going to do right now, in fact, we're back in a couple of minutes.
What a he was.
What kind of buffoonery is this?
Game on with Bianchi and Kravitz.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that guy's a stiff. No, he's 5 feet away from us. Please stop talking. Shout out to Mills Air for getting the Kravitz household feeling right for the new year. The vents, the outdoor unit, the indoor unit, everything humming the way that it should. Mills Air eliminates the problems. They'll maintain your unit. They're super friendly and helpful as well. It's a neighborhood business, but their reach stretches far and wide. Mills Air services every nook and cranny of Central Florida, including your area. Top-notch service, nothing but the best. Whether you need a new unit or an update to your existing unit, Mills Air can help you keep your home cool and energy efficient, all while doing that at a price point that is fair to you. Call Leon and the crew, schedule your appointment, and tell them that Brandon Kravitz from Game On sent you by. 407-277-1159 and online at millsair.com.
If you're waiting on the sidelines to buy a home, this might be your moment. Mortgage rates have been coming down, inventory's up, and buyers have more negotiating. It's packed with